If 2025 is going to be your year, what have you done to ensure that happens? Have you already started organizing yourself, or are you just waiting for things to change on their own? Every year, millions of people make promises, create goal lists, and speak with conviction that this time everything will be different. They say they will be more productive, take better care of themselves, and completely change their habits. But the truth is, without concrete actions, these promises become just words thrown into the wind. A few weeks pass, the old routine sets in again, and before they know it, they are living the same patterns as always. The frustration builds because of one simple fact. Change doesn't come from big, dramatic decisions, but from the small, consistent habits we choose to embrace. The truth is that it's easy to say we want something new, but it's harder to make those desires a reality without concrete actions to back them up. Change is not magic. It's a series of small steps taken every day. This happens because most people believe that change comes from big decisions when, in fact, it lies in the small daily habits. It's no use wanting a new lifestyle if the actions remain the same. An incredible year is not built solely on willpower or positive thoughts, but on consistent actions. And that's exactly what we are going to talk about here. If you really want to transform your life in 2025, you need to understand that it all starts now, in the choices you make every day. Reflecting on your current routine. Think about your current routine. Have you stopped to analyze how you're using your time? How are you managing your priorities? How often do you find yourself reacting to the day instead of planning ahead? Do you spend time in the morning figuring out your day? Or do you just rush into it with little direction? What are you doing automatically, without realizing it might be hindering your own growth? The truth is that many people live on autopilot, without questioning their habits, and then get frustrated because they can't achieve their goals. But the problem is not the lack of ability or talent. It's how they handle their daily actions. Two examples. One of routine and one of conscious change. Let's imagine two people who want to have a more productive routine. The first person wakes up in the morning, and before even getting out of bed, they grab their phone and start scrolling through social media feeds. They watch one video, then another, then another. They may get excited or distracted by something they see, and before they know it, they've wasted almost an hour of their morning without even getting out of bed. After that, they rush to get up, grab a quick coffee, feel somewhat sleepy, lacking energy to start the day, and dive into their tasks without a clear plan of what needs to be done. Throughout the day, they feel busy but not productive because they're jumping between tasks without much focus. They try to multitask, but it only leaves them feeling scattered. By the end of the day, they feel like they haven't accomplished as much as they wanted, and go to bed frustrated, repeating to themselves that tomorrow will be different. But the next day, the cycle repeats. Now, imagine another person who consciously decides to change their routine. Upon waking up, instead of grabbing their phone, they stretch, drink a glass of water, and take a moment to review their day's plan. They have already written down their goals for the day and know exactly which tasks need to be prioritized. They don't waste time with distractions. They focus on starting the day with intention. After their breakfast, they take a moment to ground themselves and mentally prepare for what's ahead. This person feels energized, not just physically but also mentally, ready to dive into their day's challenges. By the end of the day, they feel that they've truly made progress toward their goals and go to bed satisfied, knowing they're on the right path. Small choices, big impact. These two examples show how small daily actions can completely change someone's trajectory. The first person may have good intentions, but their habits are pulling them backward. The second person is slowly building a routine that moves them closer to their objectives. Neither made a radical decision, but the small choices they make every day determine what they will achieve over time. The power of consistency in achieving your goals. And this applies to any area of life. If someone wants a healthier body, it's not enough just to wish to lose weight or build muscle. If there's no change in diet, no commitment to physical exercise, nothing happens. You can't just think it and hope it will happen. If someone wants financial success but continues spending without control and doesn't seek ways to increase their income, the situation won't change. Without consistent effort, financial goals will remain out of reach. If someone wants to learn a new language but doesn't study consistently, they'll never master it. You can't just say you want to learn. You need to invest time and effort. The problem is not the lack of dreams or desires, but the lack of habits to sustain those goals. The hidden obstacles. Small oversights. And here's a crucial point. Often, the biggest obstacles to your progress are things you don't even realize you're doing. These are the small oversights that seem harmless, but over time, they undermine your efforts. A clear example of this is someone who wanted to learn how to play the guitar. At first, they were full of enthusiasm, practicing every day, watching tutorials, studying chords. But over time, they started putting it off. One day they didn't practice because they were tired, the next because they had other things to do, and another because they thought it wouldn't make much difference. When they realized it, it had been months since they last played, and despite having started well, they hadn't made any progress. The same thing happens in our lives. We start off with enthusiasm, but as time passes, we stop prioritizing our goals. The small decisions, such as skipping a workout, delaying studying, or procrastinating on a project, begin to add up. These tiny actions may seem insignificant at the moment, but when accumulated, they have a huge impact on our progress. This applies to any goal. Often, what prevents someone from evolving is not the lack of knowledge or skill, but the lack of consistency. Small slip-ups accumulate, and when the person realizes it, they're stuck. The great problem is that, since these slip-ups are subtle, they go unnoticed until one day the frustration hits because time was wasted. Reflecting on your actions. So, if you truly want to make 2025 a different year, you need to start paying more attention to the small actions you're repeating daily. What you do today is either bringing you closer to or farther away from the life you want. Are you building habits that move you forward, or are you feeding behaviors that keep you in the same place? Take a moment now to think. What habits do you have today that seem harmless but might be preventing you from moving forward? And what new habits could you start today to create the change you desire? Commit to change. Now, more than ever, it's the right time to take charge of your future. If you want to take the first step towards a truly transformative 2025, subscribe to the channel now. Here, every week, you'll find content that will help you develop a more productive routine, create positive habits, and achieve your goals with more clarity and efficiency. Don't forget to leave a comment. What habit are you willing to change to make 2025 the best year of your life?